the fog.
Good evening, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here, and it is time for a live video. Glad to have everybody here tonight. Well, we got California Linda and Jeff saying hello from the Coral Princess. My God, how is life down under? How is that cruise going?
Chica says hello, everyone. Just Cody. Hey there, Chris and Tiffany. Looking forward to MSC videos. I hope y'all are doing great too. Jeff, California Linda, Chica, hello. Dale says hello. California Linda shares, we are looking forward to hearing any updates for our group cruise. And Robert says, good evening.
Yep, group cruise, we're still just waiting for those September itineraries to pop from Carnival. I actually do need to check again, but they hadn't released as far as September yet. So that's really the holdup on the group cruise right now, is just waiting till we have itineraries available to pick from. And as soon as those pop free, we will start that process. Like I said, the big question is how is the cruise going on the Coral Princess? I'm excited to hear how it is down in Australia.
Sheikah, California Linda, hope you are enjoying the cruise. Kay Stefan, hello.
Yeah, I'm sure they're enjoying that cruise. First of all, they're on a cruise.
They're on a cruise, so that's fun right there.
Yeah, so that is automatically fun right there.
James, hello, Chris and Tiffany and cruisers.
Welcome, James. Welcome. All right, so we did do some things here over the last week. Then I did post it over on the Facebook page. So we have officially booked. We're done. We're on board. Or not on board, but we're going to be on board. We're officially booked on board MSC for the November the 9th sailing out of Galveston, Texas. So it's done deal. We are going to be on that ship.
That's next year, right?
In 2025.
Yes.
Yes, that is 2025.
California Linda shares the cruise is great. It's hot. I did hold
She
my
held
koala.
a koala. That is too cool.
She got me beat.
That's true. Hold a sloth, hold a koala.
Yeah.
Of course, now Tiffany's going to want to go on an Australian cruise and hold a koala, aren't you?
Yeah. We're going to have to find, though, when we retire, so that we can sail down there so we don't have to fly. Attila says, hey, y'all, going to MSC. You are awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go on that cruise. I think that November the 9th one, like I said, that's the very first one out of Galveston. If they're going to do anything, not for the inaugural sailing of the ship, obviously that's already happened, but it will be MSC's inaugural sailing from Galveston. Mm-hmm. So I think if they're going to do any hoopla, if they're going to have any extra activities, any, pomp and circumstance, I think that is going to be the cruise they're going to do it on. That would be a guess. Mm-hmm. In theory, if all the ducks line up in a row, that should be also from the 4th brand new cruise terminal there in Galveston that MSC is going to be sailing out of. So I think it's going to be some first. It's going to be interesting, and I think it may have the chance of having some extra fun attached to it.
Yes.
So really looking forward to that. But that's not the only thing we've done.
No.
It's not. I'm sure you guys remember here last week, Tiffany said, I want to go to Epcot for my 50th birthday. Well, who am I to tell her no? Not when it comes to her Disney. So next May, here in 2025, so it'll be next year, we're going to be doing a land cruise to Disney World. She got the choice. Where do you want to go for your birthday? She says, I want to go back and see Mickey Mouse. Surprise, surprise. I doubt anybody who knows Tiffany and her Disney fandom is surprised by that. But we will be in Disney World in May of 2025 with the possibility of an attached cruise going on that particular trip. I'm a firm believer we're going to go all the way to Florida.
Yes.
That might as well hop on a cruise ship while we are there. And the one I'm looking at, the one I'm leaning toward, and I'm considering the most is actually Margaritaville at Sea. It's inexpensive. It's a short cruise. It also happens to sail on the same morning we check out of the hotel at Disney World. So I think that's the one I'm going to go to. There's a lot of information out there about Margaritaville at the Sea. It is way less expensive than any other cruise. But does it necessarily mean it's going to be a crappy cruise? And I kind of want to go find out.
Yeah, I do too.
Kind of check that out while we're down there. Now, that is not booked or confirmed yet, but that's kind of what we're looking at. Disney is confirmed and booked. We will definitely be there. So come the end of May next year, there are going to be lots of Disney videos.
Yes.
Lots and lots of Disney videos. So buckle up. They're coming.
Attila says, do the park and cruise with Disney package.
We have done that before. Disney cruises are nice, but honestly, what we would pay to do the Disney cruise on top of that is really more than we want to spend. Disney World is not cheap, not in the slightest. It is, cover your ears, it's extremely overpriced, and in my opinion, barely worth it. But it's her 50th birthday, and it's what she wants, so that's what she's going to get. I mean, you only turn, 30th birthday. I keep, you only turn a certain age just one time. And if this is where her wants to spend her adult birthday at the Disney, well, then that's what we're going to do. Yeah. But as far as the cruise goes, we'll look at a different cruise line other than Disney for this.
Bajarn said, made it. Hello, everyone. Attila says 4 days in the park and 3 or 4 days on Disney cruise, transit included.
Yeah, and the Austrian, we have done that before. We have done that land sea package. Last time we went to Disney, that's exactly what we did. But we're going to be driving there, so we'll have our own vehicle. And I looked it up. It's like 2.5 hour drive from the parks down to Palm Beach, where we're going to board, if we board, Margaritaville to see. And that Friday just works out perfectly. So I think that's the route we're going to go. I'd like to check out a different cruise line, a different ship. It goes to Freeport in the Bahamas, which we haven't filmed. We've been there, but we haven't filmed it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be a lot of good video opportunities and some adventuring too.
Shika says that would be the thing I would do. And then, hello, James Wade. Hey, James. Good evening, guys. James says, hello, Shika. Alien Frequency. Good evening, Chris, Tiffany, and everyone in chat. I'm probably not able to chat much tonight, but I'm observing.
It works for us.
Yeah. Attila, is incredibly expensive. That's true.
You listen, look at James.
James, now we know who wears the pants in the house.
It is her birthday. Okay, it is her birthday. That is why we're doing this.
Yes. And he did give me an option. He gave me 3 options.
Yeah.
And
suggestions.
Yeah.
I told she could pick whatever she wanted, but I gave her 3 suggestions to help guide her. But no, it was her choice. This is where she wants to go. This is what we're going to do. In my defense, when it comes time for my birthday, I usually book whatever the heck I want. Mm-hmm. And she just goes. So I very well can't turn it around on her now.
California Linda shares a great way to celebrate a birthday.
If you say so.
Bajarn, she's 29. How dare you say 30?
That's right. She hasn't turned 30 yet. You're right. I'll tell y'all, Disney is not my favorite place. Disney World is not my favorite place. And they overcrowd it. They overpack it. They stuff as many people possibly in there as they humanly can. And to me, it just ends up being long waiting lines, frustrations. Now you're hot and sweaty and people don't watch where they're walking. Way worse to me than a cruise ever is. I'll take a cruise any day over than I will be being in an amusement park. But that's just my opinion. Now, of course, on the flip side of that, Disney can theme the heck out of something. Mm-hmm. They really, really can. They have great theming and things like that. They put a lot of detail into the things they do, which is great. It's awesome. It's super fun to look at. I'm going to enjoy filming it. So, and I'm looking forward to, as much as I love filming cruises and cruise ships and cruise ports, I'm also looking forward to filming something that's not cruise related.
Yeah. Shika says, sorry, I have to run. Well, thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
James says, it's a sweet thing to do for her 30th birthday.
She didn't give me a choice. She had a bat, and she said, guess where you're taking me next year? Go book it right now. That's how it actually happened. Don't let her fool you.
It is 10 a.m. Thursday morning for them in Australia.
Wow.
They're a whole day ahead of us.
This is like almost time traveling to them.
But they're also in summertime fixing to go into fall.
Yeah, because Australia's opposite, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're at the end of their summer, fixing to go into fall.
She did say it was hot down there,
Yes. Yes.
though. So there is always that. Excuse me. Well, now that we've discussed travel plans and all of that kind of good stuff, let's talk about all of the good things that have gone on in cruising this week. And let me rephrase that: good is not the word that goes in this things. So, excuse me. Felt scratchy to do too much talking today.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys saw it, but there is a passenger that is suing Carnival Cruise Lines because he got kicked by a donkey in Grand Turks. And I was telling Tiffany about this story. And luckily, people let me know in the comments because I hadn't been to Grand Turks. So when I did the video, I said, apparently there's all these wild donkeys cruising around. Apparently there is. And people confirmed in the comments, yes, there are plenty of wild donkeys. But yes, there are signs in Grand Turk that say, beware of animals, beware of wild animals, beware of donkeys. And apparently this individual decided he was going to take his picture next to the donkey. The donkey kicked him in his knee, fractured his knee, and now he is suing Carnival Cruise Line, saying Carnival does not put passenger safety first. And there was no warning, no anything about these donkeys roaming around on Grand Turk. Well, come to find out, apparently there are signs on Grand Turk that say, don't do this.
Yeah.
But here's the part that I guess confuses me the most. And you see videos about this all the time. And it's not even just cruising. But how many times have you seen a video about like bears in Yellowstone National Park? And there'll be a bear sitting on the side of the road or a buffalo. And people will get out of their car and want to go stand next to this wild animal to take a picture. And then next thing you know, the buffalo is chasing them down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's all said and done, they're mad at the buffalo. They're now saying, why didn't you tell me not to touch these buffaloes? When did we get out of the common sense era of the planet? When did people go, look, there is a big animal right there that I do not know. It does not know me. So what I should do is I should go up and mess with it. I should stand next to it. I should get too close to it. I should touch it. I should do something. And then I should blame somebody else when this animal gets me. When did common sense leave the people? It was probably around the same time that they had to start putting on the side of hair dryers. On the side of a hair dryer, it says do not use in the shower as one of the warnings.
It also says on ceiling fans, don't throw your kids in it.
When did this become a problem? When have you ever plugged anything into the electrical outlets? Where this will work the best? In this bathtub.
It's more, nobody wants to be personally accountable. There's no personal accountability. James says, sorry, I've been to Grand Turk. There is signs. I think he forgot about common sense when he nears a wild animal.
Yeah, and I don't care that it's just a donkey. Have you ever seen, here in Texas for sure, if you have livestock out in the fields and things like that, it is common to put a donkey out there because that donkey will protect that herd.
Mm-hmm.
That donkey will attack coyotes and snakes and anything else that comes into its territory. They're attack donkeys when they need to be.
Yes.
And they look all gentle and friendly and calm and still until they decide that I'm going to kick you in the knee. And then there's no helping you.
Yeah. Attila says, don't mess with the wild donkeys. It's simple common sense. Or don't mess with any big wild critter to get your silly Instagram post photo.
Exactly.
Bajon says, let Darwin take care of these people.
He's moving slow.
Dale, as the famous comedian Ron White says, you can't fix stupid.
That's true, too.
Just Cody, it's kind of common sense, I would think. James says, absolutely, Dale.
You would think it's common sense, but here we are. Here we are, kicked in the knee, and it's all my favorite part is it's now all of the cruise line's fault. Nowhere in there does he, come out and say, at least in anything I've read, come out and say, you know what, I probably shouldn't have gone over near this wild animal. I'm an adult. I should have known better. This is really my fault.
Yeah.
it just seems like it's common sense. You know, you can go to Key West and get pecked by, granted it's not getting the same as kicking your knee, but you could just easily get pecked by a chicken in Key West.
Oh yeah.
They roam wild around Key West.
Yeah, we were told you don't mess with the
You don't
chickens.
mess with the chickens, but
No.
I mean, even something though, a chicken, you wouldn't think the chicken's not going to kick you and break your knee. I never once thought, but you know what we should do? I should go poke this chicken.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
Because next thing you know, you're getting chased by a chicken and you run out in the street and you get hit by a car. Plus, some of those donkeys actually stink, said James.
I'm sure we have wild donkeys. I bet all of them don't smell the best on the planet. I doubt they're getting regular baths. But I said, this is just an example of some of the people and what they do when they are out there cruising with us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be one of our tips this video. Believe it or not, we have to have more than one after the cruise news this week. But for anybody that's new to cruising, if you see wild animals, do not go and play with them.
The picture's not worth it.
The picture is not worth it. I know you are adults. I know you should be able to say to yourself, don't do this. But here we are. Somebody did it, so now we got to say it. Don't touch the wildlife.
Okay.
Cruising, Yellowstone National Park, walking down the neighborhood of your house. If you don't know it, don't play with it.
John says it's Canadian geese here in Cincinnati. I hate those darn things.
Geese, I've seen geese. They will chase you.
We had, when Cody was little, the neighbor had geese, and they picked the pen in front of our house as their home. And that was, anytime anybody drove in, I knew, because those geese went off. And if anybody tried to mess with Cody, those geese would chase them.
Yeah.
And peck them. And yeah.
Geese are like,
I didn't need a dog. I had geese.
yeah, I've heard that geese are basically feathered dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That they will charge you. So yeah, I believe those geese are probably not fun.
California Linda wonders if the same passenger would pick up a snake and claim it's a long worm.
Up until the point where it bites him, and then it's the cruise line's fault.
Yeah. Attila says, I bet some fancy pants lawyer got in touch with the guy and talked him into a lawsuit, so they all cash in big time.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. And you're right. It is the going trend. You know, something happened to me, and it must be somebody else's fault. The lack of personal responsibility these days it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely terrible.
James says, yes, Canadian geese are very mean.
Yep.
Regular geese are mean.
Yeah, I don't know if the geese I've seen down here are Canadian or not, but the ones down here will chase you. So I can only imagine. Because I think if the ones down here are not Canadian, I think Canadian geese are bigger. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure. I think the ones up north are much bigger than the ones we have here. But I could be wrong. I am not a goose expert. Yeah, I'm not a goose whisperer by any means. All right, so that's it. That's tip number 1 of this week. Now, we also had the other story. Now, this one here, for women in particular, and I'm not being, what's the word I'm thinking for? Sexist. There we go. I'm not being sexist, but we had a Royal Caribbean cabin steward on board Symphony of the Seas. He got caught putting hidden cameras inside cruise cabins. And understanding is he was targeting women, targeting younger women, which is not good for women, but clearly he's not targeting me. Nobody wants to see all this, okay? I'm pretty sure the cabin stewards aren't walking by going, oh yeah, gotta give me a look at that. No, that's not happening, okay? But they're targeting women by putting these hidden cameras inside the cabins. It was bad enough when it was last year on Harmony of the Seas when they were putting it in the bathroom. Now we've got it in the cabins. He got caught. A passenger found it in the bathroom underneath the sink, turned it into security. They arrested the room steward. He's been fired. And, of course, he's currently sitting in jail. But this is, another, I guess, word to the wise, another warning is you go in your cruise cabin, go into it for the first time, probably do it on the daily, especially if it's a room steward putting these in there. They're in your cabin every single day. Just kind of look around and look for that thing that is out of place. Look for something that doesn't belong. Look for something that doesn't feel right. And if you see it and you're like, hey, this doesn't belong here, this isn't part of the cruise cabin, what is this? You call ship security. You have them come take a look at it. They will come, they will look, and they'll be like, whoa, what is this? And believe me, they're going to act on whatever that is. So, especially, and like I said, being how they're targeting women, because these are guys doing it in this particular case. The guys are the predators, the creepers, onto the women that are on board these ships. Definitely for women traveling alone, women, families traveling with younger women in it, be vigilant and look at these rooms. And, look at around your TV, look in your bathroom, look underneath things, look up on shelves and corners and places like that, and just keep an eye out for this kind of stuff so it doesn't happen to, anybody else. It's not happening to other people, because we got to keep these creepers off of the ship. And I did have people in the comments that, they made comments that I don't think are necessarily fair, where they said that the cruise line should be doing more to vet these people. Cruise line should be doing more to doing background checks on these people. And cruise lines do checks on these people. They do background checks. But you don't necessarily know in a background check that a creeper is a creeper if he's never gotten caught being a creeper. Yeah. For all we know, and we don't know, but this could have been the very first time he ever tried this, got caught, and is going to go to prison for this. Because he admitted to doing it. So it's alleged at this point because he hasn't been to trial, but he admitted to doing it. So the outcome is pretty much, he's going to face some time for this. But, cruise lines do the background checks. But like I said, sometimes these habits of these people and their thoughts and things that they plan to do wouldn't show up in a background check if they've never been caught doing it.
Yeah.
So some of the comments were cruise lines need to do better background checks. Well, we could say that about everything. We could say that about our school systems. How about these teachers that get caught, having relations with students, underage students? Why did that not show up in their background? Well, because they'd never done it, never got caught, whatever the case may be. It's not like you can look at someone's background and go, I think this person might be a creeper in 4 years.
Yeah. Dale says background checks only tell you what the individuals have been convicted of.
Exactly. So you don't know what they may do in the future. So it's kind of hard to blame the cruise lines for something that didn't show up in a background check. Mm-hmm. These people, they have to get these visas and these stuff to come into the United States. They're supposedly vetted by the government.
Yeah.
Even to get those documentations, a background check is done, criminal histories are done, fingerprinting is done, and things like that. But it doesn't mean everything's going to show up.
James wants to know if anything new is happening at the Galveston port, looking for another cruise around November this year.
Not that I have heard for November of this year. Nothing new. You'll have ships down there. You'll have plenty of ships, plenty of options. If you want to try your shot at Royal Caribbean, you can hop on Harmony of the Seas will be down there. Things like that. But I don't think the Viva gets here till next year. Can't remember if it's this year or next year. But you'll have Princess will be back by then. So you could try to do Princess on the Regal Princess. Harmony of the Seas will be down there. I'm not sure if Mariner of the Seas will be down there. Things like that. So, but nothing really new. The next new thing really coming to Galveston is going to be when MSC gets there next year. What's still saying? Oh, yeah.
When is MSC coming to Galveston?
November the 9th, 2025 will be the very first sailing out of Galveston. We are already booked on that cruise. So that is going to be their very first one and is supposed to be out of the brand new cruise terminal. But it's not built yet. So, guys know how that goes. Lately, we've been having a rash of stuff that's supposed to be done not being done on time, and then it's getting crazy.
Thinking about Harmony of the Seas. Have you been on the Harmony?
No. That was actually one of Tiffany's choices for her birthday. I did give her the option of Harmony of the Seas, and she chose Disney World instead. So I got to find someplace else for Harmony. I am looking to book a cruise this coming fall. I was looking around September, October timeframe for my birthday. Harmony is one of the options we've been looking at. There is a cruise going out of Galveston. It does not go all of the time. It's not one of their regular ones. It goes, I think, once a month, once every other month. But it goes from Galveston to Nassau to Coco Key and then back to Galveston. It's not a regular one, but it pops up about every month or so on Harmony of the Seas. That's kind of one of the ones at Harmony I'm looking at. It's an 8-day cruise, more sea days than anything else, because it's only got the 2 port stops in it, and that's just because of how long it takes to transit over there. But if I was going to hop on Harmony, that one would probably be one of my first choices, because we have not been to Nassau since they opened the new cruise terminal, or the new cruise port there in Nassau, and Tiffany's never had the opportunity for Coco Key.
No.
And I would like her to go to Coco Key. I think she would like Coco Key. I think that would turn out to be one of her favorite places.
Atila's doing Regal Princess in November of this year.
Okay, there we go. Regal Princess. Now, I will say this, that between Regal and Harmony, the Regal Princess cruises have been less expensive by a decent amount over Royal Caribbean. You can get on Regal Princess for a good price. So they've been one of the lower costing cruises right now. Don't know what that
James
is.
says, okay, cool, look at it. Thank you, Attila, look into it.
Yeah, so Princess is a good one. And it really depends on what you want to pay for. If you want to go on Royal Caribbean and not pay a lot of money, look at Mariner of the Seas.
Mm-hmm.
Still Royal Caribbean, but she's an older, smaller ship. But I've seen cruises out of Galveston on her for as low as $250 per person. For a 4 or 5 night cruise, you can get 7-night cruises for like $500 a cruise versus a Harmony of the Seas, which is sometimes, $1,100-$1,200. And then Regal's been down there pretty well too.
Yeah.
The last time I looked at Regal. So both of them, any of the three is honestly good options. Honestly, Mariner of the Seas is, well, we haven't been on her. We've been on that class before.
Mm-hmm.
She's a pretty ship. She has the Royal Promenade. She's actually one of the first classes to have that Royal Promenade down the center there on deck number 5. I think they're real pretty ships.
Yeah.
Of course, Harmony of the Seas is a beautiful ship, big but beautiful, being Oasis class, and the Regal Princess is. We've been on sister ships for Regal, and those are pretty ships.
Yeah.
And we like Princess.
Yes. Attila says, get the plus package. It's a good price right now if you want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely,
I really
James.
like
If you book Princess, you at a minimum you want the Princess Plus, especially because I know what you like to do in the evenings. If you want to go sit down at that atrium bar and stuff like that, you're going to want that Princess Plus.
Yes.
Because that Princess Plus has your drink package, it has your internet package already in it, has the gratuities already built into it. So all those things that you had on the Prima, you can get with that Princess Plus, and I liked it better on Princess.
Yeah.
So
James says, okay, thank you. We'll check into it. Have not been on Princess. I liked Princess. Just Cody, I read somewhere that there will be a 16-day transatlantic cruise going out of New Orleans. I believe it said November 2025 on the Carnival Valor. Have you heard anything about anything like that?
No, but I have not looked at anything out of New Orleans in quite a while. I can check it out, though. 16-day transatlantic for the Valor. I'd have to look at that because just because I didn't see it doesn't mean anything. But I hadn't heard that the Valor was leaving New Orleans. And usually if they do a transatlantic, they're either...
James says you're giving his secrets away.
James, we saw you doing it. It wasn't a secret. you were in the atrium. It's not a secret. No, that wasn't the atrium. Yeah, it was. That shit still confuses me. Because I don't think the Valor's not due for dry dock. And you know what? Now I'm curious. And now I got to look that up. But I wasn't aware of the Valor repositioning. Which is that doesn't mean anything. But I wasn't sure that they hadn't read where they were going to put a new ship in New Orleans. So
you just tell me about it.
Yeah. But it's possible. Who knows what shuffling they're going to do next? Because they've been doing some shuffling recently. Because the Vista reshuffled.
Mm-hmm.
She's back in Florida. And then we have 2 other Carnival ships that are going to be coming through here soon. So, you never know. But yeah, you definitely got options. And, let me know what you see. Let me know what you find. Let me know if you see something that interests you. I don't necessarily have to cruise in September. Just saying. Because we haven't booked anything yet. We can always book it a little bit later.
Not too late.
Well, not too late, I know. And I'm sure you wouldn't mind going on Princess again.
No.
So, or Royal.
No.
Or any cruise.
Or any cruise.
I didn't think so. All good cruises is a good cruise, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's hot. But yeah, so that's a couple of the interesting things that have gone on in as I said, cruise newsing stuff this week. I guess it's just been a weird week for that kind of stuff. Yep. So just tips of the week: don't play with donkeys. Look for hidden cameras inside your cabin because look, that's just gross. Honestly, that's just gross. And that guy had been on the cruise ship since closer to the beginning of 2023.
Wow.
Right, before he got caught. So they're not even sure at this point, or they haven't released yet, exactly how many cabins he may have done this to on how many sailings. So got to keep out for that kind of stuff.
But aren't there devices you can get that detect that kind of stuff?
There are that you can get like hidden camera detectors and stuff you can pay for. But a lot of times for these ones that they're hiding in the cabins though, it's not like they're in mirrors or things like that. They have to be out in the open. Hidden underneath something, stuck to something. So a lot of times, if you don't want to spend any money, a good visual check can get you past the majority of that stuff in the cruise cabin situation.
Just Cody said April 24th, 2025. Sorry, wrong date. James says, I will look at it, Chris, and let you know and let you help me book it.
Always.
Just Cody says Carnival Valor start, New Orleans, Nassau. You can say that one. Ponta Delgado, Gata, Fun.
It's heading over towards
yeah, I can't say those.
It's heading to Spain.
Well,
there it is.
Barcelona through April 24th, 2025 through Saturday, May 10th, 2025.
Well, they are definitely clearly repositioning the Valor.
Bjorn says a donkey cam, the new TikTok trend.
Donkey cam.
Cody says, I just found it. Cruising Karen, hello at High Seas Cruising. Hello, Karen.
Hello, welcome to the live. So definitely, apparently, they are repositioning the Valor, which means New Orleans should be getting something else. Now, which one they're going to get, I do not know, but they should be getting something else when that happens. New Orleans is a pretty popular port, so
Yeah. So you'd have to fly back from Barcelona. But we already booked for 2025, so.
well, yeah. And if we're going to do a transatlantic, we're going on that one.
Yeah.
When we do our transatlantic, we're going on that British Isles transatlantic.
That's just too close to Disney, so we kind of say no.
See, it's like we could have gone transatlantic British Isles. She said, "Nope, Mickey Mouse." Mickey Mouse.
The mouse is calling.
Now, keep in mind, she says it's for Disney World. She says it's for Mickey Mouse. This all started because she's like, I want to go to Epcot and eat snacks.
Yes.
That's actually what got her on this kick. And the whole reason we're driving to Florida is so she can go to Epcot and eat snacks is the real reason we're there. She said, I don't know if I really want to ride rides. I want to eat snacks. So.
And I want to find the hidden characters that I didn't find last time. And, yeah. No making room for the new big carnival ship, New Orleans, I mean.
That would be news to me too. I wasn't aware New Orleans was getting anything bigger. I thought, then again, I would have to do some research on this, but I thought New Orleans had a size restriction.
James is asking Attila what date you're sailing on in November.
Because I thought there was a restriction on because they have to go up the Mississippi River. And I thought there was a draft requirement. So I don't know 100% if Mississippi or if New Orleans could even take one of the bigger ships. But I could be wrong. I know places like Mobile and Baltimore have bridges, and that is their largest obstacle. But now I'm going to have to go look it up because now I'm curious to see what New Orleans is going to get after that. That'll be April 2025, so I'll have to look and see in May of 2025 and see what New Orleans is going to get. Because I'd be curious to know about that. Because New Orleans that's the second closest port to us, is New Orleans. We have never sailed out of New Orleans, so.
I'm just guessing since you are an influencer, I thought I'd start a rumor.
I am not starting that rumor. I am not going to start that rumor. You know, for all the stuff that I read, cruise comments and all that kind of stuff, it is amazing the number of people in some of these ports. They get pissed off. They get pissed off and just write nasty comments everywhere when they do ship repositionings and they don't get new ships. It's constantly like, well, I guess you think my town sucks, my port sucks because I didn't get this or we didn't get that. And I said for a lot of them, it is the ability of the port to handle these kinds of ships. Like I said, in Mobile, they got a bridge. It's a nice port. To me, it was easy and everything like that. But with that bridge there, you're not getting an XL class ship down that. It's not going to happen. Baltimore's got a bridge issue. New Orleans, I said I'd have to check, but I think there is restrictions because it's up the Mississippi River.
Attila says maybe draft since there's no bridge problem between the Gulf and the port.
That's what I'm wondering is because it goes up the Mississippi River. And of course, look, cruise lines, they're all about the scratch. You know, they're all about making the green and the change. And those new cruise ships, they're going to go where they're going to make them the most amount of money. That's why the majority of them go to Florida first. Busiest cruise ports. Most passengers go through Florida than anywhere else. They get the new cruise ships. It's business. Galveston has become the fourth largest cruise port, and we're growing. And as the growth goes, we're seeing new cruise ships and new sizes and new cruise terminals, but we've had to grow into it. And some of these little cruise ports are not growing, and nothing against the port or the people or the state or the location. But if you got an itty bitty cruise port somewhere, you're probably not getting an Oasis class ship, you're not getting a Quantum class ship, and you're probably not getting an XL class ship. Not anytime soon. And that's business.
So it says the bridge is a few hundred yards past the port. James says same thing with Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's another one. They're smaller places, smaller ports, and they have issues with ship size. And unfortunately, at this point in time, unless those particular ports can fix whatever the issue is, in the case of a bridge, which there's nothing you can do about that, it becomes an is what it is situation. The biggest problem for those people isn't even today, to be honest with you. I think the biggest problem for some of these people is going to be 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. As the cruise ships continue to grow, very few cruise lines, if any, are looking backwards to building smaller cruise ships. Carnival's already said it's just not economical for us to build a small cruise ship anymore. But we're going to continue to invest in our older cruise ships. Well, one of their last fantasy class cruise ships, still out there floating around, was built in 1998. No, 96. In 1996. Which means that cruise ship is coming up on 30 years old. So at some point, you guys know that it's not going to become worth continuing to put money into a 30-year-old cruise ship. Cruise ships usually don't last 30 years before they're handed off to somebody else.
Yeah.
They're sold by then. So you look at some of these ports where, the Elation is still sailing. How much longer is she still going to be sailing? You look at Royal Caribbean, some of their smallest ships like Grandeur of the Seas. It's one of the oldest and smallest cruise ships they still have sailing. She's over 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And if these cruise lines aren't building ships that can fit under these bridges and in some of these cruise ports, I think that's where it's really going to come to head, is in 10 and 15 years, where there will be no ships that can go into those ports anymore. They've all outgrown them.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be mad.
Jordan says build a new bridge. Yeah. Janine cruised out of New Orleans on NCL Getaway. It's a large ship.
Okay, so then, yeah. Then obviously I was thinking about that too. And I thought the Breakaway sailed out of there once or twice too. I haven't sailed out of New Orleans, so I haven't seen that one in particular. It may just purely be an economical reason then.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that too, remember, just is going to come down to the economics for the cruise line. Where do they think and believe they're going to get the most amount of money for?
My first cruise was Valor out of New Orleans.
Our first Carnival cruise was on the Valor out of Galveston.
Yeah.
Back in 2017, 2018, she was in Galveston and we sailed out of her here. But the Valor was our very first Carnival cruise ever. That was our introduction to Carnival cruise lines. It was a good one though, because we've been on plenty of Carnival cruises since.
Yeah.
The Valor definitely gave us a good showing for herself.
Yes.
Came off of that particular cruise and our first Carnival cruise going, wow, we like Carnival.
Yeah. Booked a few more since then.
Booked a few more since then.
It's sad that the smaller ships are going away. I like the smaller ships.
Lots of people do. Lots of people want them to come back. But so the cruise lines are just convinced that there's no money in them for the future. And I guess from a business standpoint, I kind of see what they're saying. Because they're trying to attract the new cruisers, the younger cruisers, the next generation of, lifetime cruisers. And right now they want the bells and the whistles and the rides and the shows and the bling and all that kind of stuff that comes on the new, bigger cruise ships. That's what they want. And I guess they're figuring that the people that like the smaller ships, which were, for the majority of us, are a higher age bracket. I guess that's a nice way to say, not a spring chicken anymore. Building ships that we like at this particular point, when a cruise ship should last 20 years. Will there be anybody that wants to sail it in 20 years, sail on it in 20 years? Yeah. So from an economical standpoint, they're looking to the future and not so much the present. And I can see kind of where that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that is all these new ships come out with the bells and the whistles and the toys and all that kind of stuff. New toys wear out.
Yes.
New toys lose interest. And after you've seen the new toys and you've ridden the rides and seen the blingy blingy, then it goes right back to enjoying the fact that you're on a cruise. And that's where you look for something that is smaller, is calmer, is quieter, and is more of the cruising experience. So hopefully they'll come around to that again, I would say.
The Dream used to sail out of there. It's a good size ship too. James is reminding everybody to hit the like button.
Thank you, James.
The Jarn, nowadays the ships is the attraction, not the ports. It's just the way things are, I guess.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't agree with that either. I don't think that it should necessarily be that way either. To me, the act of cruising is the draw. It's not because there's a roller coaster on the ship. It's not because the ship necessarily has this or that. It's just the relaxing atmosphere, the spirit of cruising, that takes you from place to place to place. And the fact that it takes you from place to place to place is the draw for me too. Mm-hmm. You know, you see these cruise lines where they'll do cruises where it's basically leave the port, go to a private island, come back, maybe stop at Nassau. Those don't have as much interest for me as some of the other ones.
California Linda shares, for many, the ship is the destination. For us, it's transportation between ports.
And I agree with that a lot too. Well, I'd say I'm probably in the middle.
You're about 50-50.
I'm about 50-50 because I love the ships.
Yes.
I love to explore the ships, but they don't have to have roller coasters on them or all that for me to love exploring the ship. I've explored Grandeur of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's oldest ship. Loved it.
Yeah.
I've explored a fantasy class ship on Ecstasy, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite ships, and it didn't have all those bells and whistles. So I love the ships as much as I love the ports, but it's not necessarily for what's on the ship more than it's the fact that it is a ship.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest draw to cruising is you wake up in a different port every day.
Right. You're never in the same spot twice. You stay on a land vacation, you walk out your hotel in the morning, you're in the exact same spot you were the day before.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to see something new when you walk out your door. You're going to see the same thing you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what to me makes cruising a huge draw. You look out the window, you never know. You see some ocean, you can see some land, you can see a storm, you can see some fog.
Bajan says, I prefer just watching the ocean go by. That's my cruising style. I'm old.
I've enjoyed that style before myself.
Oh, yeah. Especially on Royal Caribbean, you get in those go-to-sleep chairs.
On deck 5.
On deck 5 and watch the ocean. And, yeah, next thing you know, you waking up and it's a couple hours later.
Yeah, you took a nap on the deck. Oh, yeah. And you get that breeze and that ocean smell and the sound of the water out there. Oh, absolutely not. And I don't think you have to be old to enjoy that. I just think that the ones that like the bells and the whistles and roller coasters, they haven't gotten past the new toy smell yet.
Yeah.
It's like little kids. You can buy them the greatest, awesomest, newest toy on Christmas morning, and they'll unwrap it, and they'll play with it for a week, and then you don't see it again for 6 months, 8 months, if you ever see it again. And I think some of what they're putting on these cruise ships is going to turn into that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the toy that goes away and people don't play with after a while. But you got to get past it all first.
Mm-hmm. James says, exactly, Bajan. I like sea days on my balcony. Janine says, I'm glad you said that you both going to have or love Margaritaville at sea. It's all about floating and relaxing.
I just want to try it because I have seen some absolutely horrid negative reviews about Margaritaville at sea, ship upkeep, conditions on the ship. And I know they went in and fixed a lot of that. But then I've also heard other people say that it's all about the mindset you go into it. It's not a super expensive cruise. It's not Celebrity Cruise Lines. It's not Royal Caribbean. It's not, Holland America. If you go into it with the mindset of, it's a less expensive cruise, so it's going to be different, than what you've cruised on. I've heard it's awesome and you come off having a great experience. That's what I've honestly heard about Margaritaville. It's about how you approach it. It will actually determine how well you will enjoy it. So
Dale says sea days on the balcony are enjoyable. And
yes.
Sheila says, I love the ocean, not go-karts and roller coasters and climbing walls. Bajarn, I guess I'm at the point where the box is more fun than the toy.
Exactly. And everybody, I mean, is going to get to that eventually. You know, some of the stuff's only going to appeal to people who have cruised one time. You know, it's their first cruise. I think it's a really good example of it. That new thing that they have on the Royal Caribbean ship where you go out on the side. It's like a ropes course thing, but then it drops you.
I saw that. No way.
But you know that ride, that whole thing takes like 10 seconds, and it's like $100.
Yeah, no.
I'm over that right there too.
Yeah. When does the second Margaritaville ship start sailing out of Tampa?
I'd have to look that up to give you the exact information. I want to say it's supposed to be here pretty soon. I know they already took possession of the ship. So I'm thinking it should be fairly soon because when they do Tampa, they're going to be going over to Cozumel and Costa Maya with that one when they sail out of Tampa.
Cruising Karen, I didn't enjoy Margaritaville at sea, but the hubby thought it was okay. I guess it's a booze cruise mentality. It might work for you.
Booze cruising, no, it really wouldn't work for us. But one of the things we try to do, though, is I have to try it in order to talk about it fairly. So I can know it's less expensive. I can know it's 3 days, which means it's going to be a little booze cruisy. I know all that stuff up front. So I'm not going to be shocked and surprised by it. But especially because we talk about cruising and cruise lines and all that kind of good stuff, I have to try it to be able to form an honest, real opinion, to be able to say, okay, this is what it was like. This is how I felt about it. Otherwise, I'm just kind of talking about, you know, well, I read this, I saw this, somebody said this, and that only gets me so far with what I think should be right.
Duckman says Margaritaville starts in Tampa in July.
There you go, James.
There you go. Yep.
That's one thing I like about having everybody in the live. Somebody will know the answer. Exactly. Somebody in here will always have the answers that we are looking for, and that is awesome.
Bajarn, with Icon on short cruises, it may take several cruises to see the whole ship.
Which may be exactly why they're moving some of those ships to those short sailings, to get people to book on them repeatedly. That would be, I guess, a way to go. To say, you know, well, if we don't sail it 7 days and we don't sail longer sailings on it, and the ship's too big to see in that number of days, now they have to rebook to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
Hook them and then get them to come back. I could see that where that would make some business sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would be able to see and film and get around Icon. I wouldn't be able to do it in 3 days, and I try to get around these things.
Yeah.
And 3 days would be tough.
California Linda at Dale, that's what we're doing this morning, a sea day with high seas cruising and fans.
I don't know. I'm honest with you. I'm going to say, I can't believe you're spending your cruise time with us. I like us, but wow. Honestly, I'd be like, cool, I'll catch them fools next week. I got a cruise to play with. But thank you for being here. I mean, It's kind of humbling that you would spend any of your cruise time on here with us.
Yeah, very much. Lenny's here. He says hi from Geneva, and Lenny and Luke.
Because if it was me in your situation, Tiffany'd be here by herself going, I don't know what he's doing.
He's somewhere on the ship.
He's somewhere on the ship. I have no idea.
He's on the balcony drinking coffee and enjoying the view.
Doing the live. Tiffany be doing it by herself because I would have long disappeared by now.
We'd just be staring at the ocean.
Well, with the group in here, if you turn the camera around, face the ocean, and turn the sound up all the way, so they can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, just tell them to release some, sea breeze incense in their house or something.
Mm-hmm.
Be like everybody was there.
Yeah. Our own soaring ride.
See, she's talking about Disney rides already. Y'all don't understand. I'm going to hear nothing about Disney stuff until next year.
I've already started sending him posts.
Yeah, she's already sending me, look at this video. We can eat this. We can do this. We can go here.
Mm-hmm.
She's already sent me links to where I can get her a Magic Band.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you've never been to Disney World, is the medallion for Disney.
Yes.
It's the Disney's for, or Disney actually had it first. But it's pretty much the medallion. It does all of the same things the medallion does, but on land.
Yes. And then we come home and add it to our collection.
Yes, because we do have a Disney medallion wall
Yes.
or hanger thing that we got one year for Christmas.
Yes.
Christmas, yeah. It was a cool gift.
Yeah.
It was a cool gift. But we're way off topic. We are not even talking about cruising anymore.
We're squirreling again.
We're squirreling again. But I think we're going to get ready to wrap it up for tonight.
Yes.
And double check, make sure anybody doesn't have anything else. Before we get on here, I said I will be back for sure we'll probably have a cruise news video on Friday. I got a couple stories. Definitely have whatever cruiser wants for Saturday. Got some good ones. Some good ones have popped up this last week.
Other than the donkey.
The donkey wasn't even a comment. The donkey was a story.
Okay.
I'm talking about the comments. Rudeness abound. It's week after week. They find just that way to get an inch nastier than they were the week before. So
Attila says, all right, y'all have a great week. Bajarin says, have fun and thanks for being here for us. Great time every time. Thank you both and enjoy your week. Asked, I thought would be the popcorn
it
container.
already is. She is already planning her popcorn container.
Yes.
The thing about Disney World is you never know which ones are going to be available when you get there. So she can't really plan for them now because they rotate them and change them. So I'm guessing she's just going to run from popcorn stand to popcorn stand at parks. She's going to be like, popcorn stand, until she collects as many as she can physically carry around the park.
And we're driving, so I can fill up the bed of the truck.
You see how we're not flying to Florida. We are going to drive to Florida because I'm scared of what she might get, and I'm going to need the pickup to put her stuff in.
Yes.
So, believe me, popcorn buckets are on her list. They already are.
Yes, they are. So, thanks to the new viewers. I saw some new names in there, so thank you and welcome.
Yeah, thank you to everybody. We just say it every week. Thank you, everybody, for showing. We really appreciate it. Love these live shows simply because we get to come on here and just have conversation. We get to share information. We get to have a live show with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Linda was asking, don't worry, as soon as those group cruise dates come up, we're going to start that entire process, get that locked down, and get it ready for everybody to book. Because as much fun as we have in these lives, I think if we could get some of these people all together on one cruise ship,
Yes.
then we're going to have fun because we'll all be in our own cabins watching the ocean go by from our balconies. We can text between cabins.
Yes.
Did you guys see that wave? I saw that wave. I saw that wave too. Sorry, I'm going to sleep for 3 hours. That'll be my text. Sorry, I fell asleep, guys. It's going to be a blast.
Yes, it is.
The most relaxing group cruise ever put at sea.
Yes.
What'd you guys do? We napped.
Attila says, haha, true.
We'll have the bar time in the evening. We're going to go take over the Alchemy bar
Yeah.
in the evening. We'll just have to push people out of the way.
Yeah.
Take over the Alchemy bar in the evening, and then snap it off during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Friday.
all right. Want to thank everybody for being here. We really, really appreciate it. If you haven't done, sorry, my brain just went totally. But so we'll be back next week for the live. Got a couple videos coming up this week. Got Saturday, whatever other cruise news pops between now and then. But I want to thank you, everybody, for being here. And like always,
We'll see you out on the high seas.
good night, everybody.
Good night.